Коллеги, добрый день. Я тогда предлагаю спикерам подняться на наш подиум, чтобы мы с коротким опозданием начали. Welcome, welcome, добро пожаловать. Hoş geldiniz. I'm very glad to see you here on the third day of Tashkent International Investment Forum. And today we will discuss the cooperation between Uzbekistan and Germany. And we will do a hopefully quite vivid discussion with Q&As. And please don't hesitate to raise your hand if you have any questions. We will have the session opened to the participants. But before we start our discussion, I would like to invite the ambassador of Germany to Uzbekistan, Manfred Huterer, to give us a speech.
Алло? Сейчас работает. Большое вам спасибо за приглашение.
Thanks a lot for the invitation. Good day.
Dear Mr. Kinsbrunner, dear panelists, dear partners and guests. First of all, let me thank the German Chamber of Commerce in Central Asia and the German Eastern Business Association for inviting me and for organizing this truly important event today. It is really a great pleasure for me to welcome you to the first session of the Uzbekistan and Germany Investors and Business Council. The Council is a new format that will serve as a bridge between both our countries' business communities and contribute to the dynamic development of the bilateral relations between Uzbekistan and Germany. And our bilateral relations have never been better. They are deepening in quality and also growing in quantity. Following up on the previous high-level encounters between our heads of state and government, I remember would like to remind you the visit of Chancellor Scholz last year in Samarkand. So following up on these previous high-level encounters, Prime Minister Aripov will soon be on his way to visit Germany next week. He will meet representatives of the newly formed German government and participate in the so-called Duvirat, as we call it, the German-Uzbek Economic Council. This shows that political exchange and economic cooperation go hand in hand. The economic ties are a major backbone. I think it's a foundation of our strong and trustful partnership. And you, dear representatives of German and Uzbek companies, are the ones driving this development. Germany has been and will continue to be a reliable partner for Uzbekistan. I can assure you that the new German government and Chancellor Friedrich Merz will continue its support for Uzbekistan and the region and intensify cooperation in a number of areas. Uzbekistan is a gravitational center in Central Asia and a champion of regional cooperation, which is ever more evolving and contributing to strengthening its resilience and independence. And I truly think this is a historic achievement against the background of Central Asia's history. Germany is supporting this process, in particular within the framework of the strategic regional partnership with the 5 Central Asian states. Dear partners and guests, Uzbekistan's economy is thriving. I do not want to repeat all the speeches given during the last days, but it's really clear for everybody that economic development lays the foundation for overall development. And Uzbekistan sets itself high goals in that regard. According to the strategy 2030, poverty is to be halved, a topic which was not in the focus during the last days, but I think it's an important topic. Poverty is to be halved, labor productivity to be doubled, and green energy to be increased. There has already been significant progress made on these issues. The Tashkent International Investment Forum takes place the 4th time in a row and is one of the main events in the economic sphere, as we all know. It shows that the Uzbek government acknowledges that foreign investment is key for the country's development. So domestic reforms opening up to the world are 2 sides of the same medal. In this context, a special focus will be on the next upcoming round of privatization of public companies. The business community will welcome, I think, a fair and transparent setup design of the tenders. I think now is a good time for foreign companies to enter the Uzbek market. The country further opens up economically, branches become accessible for private involvement, entrepreneurship, including for women entrepreneurs, which just this morning had a great meeting in my residency, is promoted. I strongly welcome the improvement of the investment climate during the last years, but I think further progress is possible, and it is, of course, necessary. German companies and institutions are ready to support this important issue. One of the reasons for the strength of the German economy, as we all know, are the many small and medium-sized enterprises. However, and that's also clear, SMEs are more vulnerable to uncertainties, especially for those companies, but not only transparency, predictability, legal certainty are, of course, key factors. This is why I was glad to read about the openness and transparency of public procurements in the presidential decree about market reforms in the context of the WTO accession efforts that Germany strongly supports. We very much hope that next year Uzbekistan will become member of the WTO. And I'm confident that this will not remain just a statement of intent. There are already many companies represented on this promising emerging market, and many more are currently considering their market entry or investment. Many representatives are sitting in this room today. The German federal government strongly welcomes this development and encourages German companies to extend their network to Uzbekistan. Some have already been active here for decades and have found their place as renowned and competitive players in their sector. Some even started their own vocational education projects, which I'm especially happy to witness. Vocational training is also one of the key sectors of German development cooperation in Uzbekistan. We believe that it is necessary for a growing and sustainable economy to have practically skilled employees. Uzbekistan has a young and dynamically growing population. This is a strength that can create a win-win situation favorable for both German and Uzbek interests. In this regard, it is also a good sign to see Mr. Abdulaziz Khuzanov here on the panel, the chairman of the Al Malik Mining and Metallurgical Complex, here today among the panelists. AGMK does not only work together with German companies, with KfW represented by Ms. Galizina here, it also contributes to advancing vocational training. I think that is a very, very important aspect. And I also think that critical raw materials are one of the strategic sectors where German companies can bring their expertise, quality, and efficiency into the current investment initiatives. Dear guests, concluding, I would like to stress that Uzbekistan and Germany are both looking to diversify their economic relations. We have the same interests, overlapping interests at least, and we can both mutually benefit from a close and comprehensive partnership. What we need, I think, in this regard is success stories. We need lighthouse projects in strategic areas, including critical raw materials, also transport. This is also very important in order to make a difference and inspire others. This is where you, the companies and investors, can be the drivers of change. Let me underline again, and that I'm very pleased to see the first Uzbekistan and Germany Business and Investors Council coming to life as part of the TIF. And I'm really confident that it will facilitate the economic cooperation between our countries, and I'm looking very much forward to the panel discussions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Ambassador Hutara. And thanks, of course, for the continuous support of you and your team for German business here in Uzbekistan. It's very highly appreciated. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our discussion, I would briefly like to present our speakers today. And with us together, already mentioned, is Abdullah Khursanov. Okay. Chairman of the board of AGMK. We have with us together Michael Bayer, Vice President of Class Eurasia, Class Global Sales GmbH, Ekaterina Galizina, Director Business Development Origination KfW IPEX Bank, Olaf Schmidt, Head of Mining International Schachtbau Nordhausen GmbH, and Bachodir Alimov, Managing Director of the Transformation Office of the NBU. And my name is Eduard Kinsbrunn. I'm heading the delegation of German economy in Central Asia from Almaty, and I'm very glad to be here with you. And if you allow, I will switch to Russian. И хотел бы задать первый вопрос
First question I would like to ask Mr. Husanov.
Господин посол уже отметил, АГМК одна из крупнейших компаний страны, и АГМК очень успешно сотрудничает с международными игроками. Особое место занимает немецкие компании. В каких сферах вы работаете с бизнесом, и в каких сферах вы, может быть, видите больше потенциала для сотрудничества? Спасибо.
Ассаламу алейкум, хурматлы ханымдар ва жанаблар. Добрый день, уважаемые гости, участники инвестиционного форума. Я хотел поблагодарить вас за прекрасный вопрос. Мы сотрудничаем очень с многими компаниями. Вот непосредственно рядом, который со мной сидит, госпожа Галицина. С банком КФ работаем. Вы знаете, мы подписывали меморандум, уже подписали кредитное соглашение на 2,5 миллиарда евро, уже открыто финансирование по строительству нового металлоплавильного завода. Вы знаете, принята программа «Стратегия развития АГМК» до 2030 года. В рамках реализации этих стратегий завершается строительство третьей медно-обогатительной фабрики. Многие немецкие компании участвуют сегодня именно в завершении строительства вот этой компании. Я хотел поблагодарить всех наших партнеров, которые сегодня очень много наших партнеров сидят вот здесь за успешные работы именно строительство третьей медно-обогатительной фабрики. За короткий срок именно завершается такое предприятие мощностью 60 миллионов тонн. Именно я могу бы перечислить очень много компаний. Компания Aum, немецкая компания, или компания Siemens, которая участвует, ThyssenKrupp, Autotech, Metz-Autotech, который именно участвует. А также наш партнер Falk Porsche здесь сидит, который непосредственно у нас очень много проектов. А также мы в этом году завершаем модернизацию и реконструкцию наших основных производственных мощностей. Если посмотреть, в 2017 году мы где-то производили 100 тысяч тонн колодной меди, сегодня мы вышли 150-148 тысяч тонн. У нас кратно увеличиваются дивиденды благодаря реконструкции наших основных производственных мощностей. Именно мы здесь внедряем немецкие технологии, поставщиками является немецкая компания. А также я хотел поблагодарить именно внедрение дуальной системы образования. Очень тесно мы работаем с компанией Papenburg, АНК работаем именно. У нас есть стратегический партнер, компания Aurubis. Именно по их помощи мы построили школу инженеров сегодня. Но можно здесь очень много.
I can say lots of things in this direction, but I wanted to briefly say thank you for your attention.
Спасибо большое. Действительно, очень впечатляет сотрудничество и сам конгломерат. Я несколько раз уже был в Алматы, посещал вас. Впечатляюще, и особенно впечатляюще, какими темпами идет модернизация. Ну и мы должны отметить, как представитель германской экономики в Центральной Азии, GIC, Узбекистан, также сотрудничаем с вами в проекте Skills Expert именно в сфере профессионального образования. Let me address maybe Olaf Schmidt with the next question. You are quite experienced in the region of Central Asia and of course also in Uzbekistan. What modernization initiatives in Uzbekistan is Uzbekistan implementing in mining sector, and how will you assess it in the regional context?
Thank you very much, Eduard. First of all, I want to say that I'm very happy to be here today in this panel. And yeah, this is a very good question. I think the mining industry in the world, and especially here in Central Asia, is on the way to a more worldwide standards. And with these standards, standards, they are needed for acting at the world market. It is necessary to look what the modernization, what modern technologies are state of the art in the world, and through this process, it is required that here must be a modernization too.
Thank you very much. Maybe one more question. How does the German government support German companies investing in Uzbekistan or to trading with Uzbekistan in the mining sector, of course?
Yeah, we are a mining service provider. We are mostly in a more later stadium of projects, but in the first stadiums of these projects, questions of financing, question of project development, it is very important for these countries like Uzbekistan. And but for us, it is very interesting to involve us in a very early stage of these projects, to bring ideas, to bring modern technologies into the process of decision in such projects.
Thank you. Перед тем, как мы перейдем к вопросу, к важному вопросу, как профинансировать все это, хотел бы задать вопрос Михаилу Байеру. Компания «Класс» уже многие годы, если не сказать десятилетия, работает на узбекском рынке. Как бы вот у вас есть опыт работы уже эти многие годы, как реформа президента и правительства Узбекистана повлияли на экономическую ситуацию в стране вот с точки зрения крупного
in country from the point of view of huge German investor. Thank you, Edward, for your question. First of all, I express my gratitude for the opportunity to participate because, as His Excellency Ambassador mentioned, that we should mention the work that we have already done in regard to lighthouses as well. And the work that we have carried out, this is the lighthouse, I would say, and the services which will be provided for the German investor. For people who don't know about my company, the Class company, we are the family business. We are not the huge company registered in stock exchanges. Our decisions are based on the Class family. Mr. Helmut Klaas, before the revolution, he visited Uzbekistan. Back then it was a republic, one of the republics, and he witnessed the potential of our machines, technologies here. Then it was decided to establish the office to get closer to this market, and we understood that we should take into account the conditions and not a very good potential, not only in agriculture, but as a country with a huge population which is increasing annually. And of course, as an investor in today's world, we should take into account these conditions. More than agricultural technologies production, we should pay attention to the training as well. After introducing the technologies in agricultural field, we should focus on transfer of our experience which have gathered in our company in the different regions of the world. About the conditions, we are one of the first German companies that started getting closer to this market, and thanks to the conditions which is being provided to us, we are here still, and this year we are having 15 years of anniversary here in Uzbek market. Some of people asked me how are we feeling. I can say with confidence that we are feeling good being in this market.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your assessment.
Ekaterina,
your company is working on the territory of Uzbekistan has been working for a very long time, and we have heard about a very large project with ATMK. What other projects are you working with attracting German businesses, and how do you assess the current situation? Good day, dear colleagues. From my side, I would like to thank everybody for the opportunity to participate here on this roundtable, on this session, because it is very important to tell about the opportunities, to tell about the results, as His Excellency the Ambassador ambassador has mentioned, to talk about the perspectives and mutually build the pipeline. So it's not a coincidence that the most key players of the market have gathered here, and all the people who have primarily been on the front lines of the Uzbek market over here, as Mr. Khursanov has already announced, my colleague Fakir Porsche, who has entered with the investments, the class company that has entered with the investment. So this is one of the most courageous companies from the family business sector. But either way, we are witnessing that large businesses, even though they're being careful with their strategic decisions, are witnessing very large potentials in Uzbekistan here. But as a rule of law, if we look at the classical directions of how companies start to work here, start operating, there are some trade operations, then they are followed by some large supplies of tools or services, and then the company, of course, starts to understand how the companies or the market has to be invested. Our bank that is connected to KfW. We have been here for some time now, as the KfW Development Bank has been here since the 90s and was actively supporting the country with the different reforms that it has been going through. Other than us, as KfW Bank and KfW Development Bank, we have an actively working company, DHG, that is being supported, that supports the private sector and investing here as well. So as a group, we are actively, our portfolio has more than 2.5 billion here and more than 3 pipelines. And so what are we doing as a CaEX bank? We are working, cooperating with German businesses, whatever has something to do with supplying tools, supplying services. What else, like entering the investing or German banks, we can finance all of them. Alongside with that, we have one product. We are not a universal bank. We do not have any. We don't have any competition with other banks or something. We don't have some intensive programs, but we still support the trade operations with trade financing of the leading banks of Uzbekistan here. As you can see, my colleagues from the National Bank of Uzbekistan is here. He is one of our longest partners in Uzbekistan. We are actively working in the sphere of energy, as you have probably heard already about the very famous project that is, which is called Surkhandarya, this energy. Working here, we support the financing. It's one of the most considerate projects that are being mutually worked with ADMK, where we talk about the building of heating factory, where we have more than $2.5 million invested. This is very good for us as a German bank. That, of course, German companies are have a big chance to support this factory with their technologies, with their know-hows, with their tips, and we are actively working at this transport infrastructure sector. We are looking at the railroad sector. That is why every single, all of these directions, there is a large potential for German businesses, which we are trying to follow up with in German companies regarding these projects. Mr. Ambassador has also mentioned this. We are working with raw material sectors, with critical raw materials. We have a classical material sector of Germany, which means the non-OFK, the non-connected financing, where there are companies that are supplying raw materials to the German market can obtain long-term financing through special instruments by sending it to Germany, which tells us or proves that Germany is interested in obtaining raw materials for long-term and for their companies for further development. And a new instrument that has appeared last year. The government of Germany has created a raw material instrument for supporting the raw material sector, which is managed by KfW. Those are the projects that are from the list of the critical raw materials that we can invest in through this particular fund. From 100 million euros is European or German investors are investing into this project. So as we can see, businesses are being conducted in the front lines. There are some classical instruments like expert financing are developing. But however, alongside with that, we can see the needs of the business, whatever and what they're in need of. So whenever they see it, the German government provides them with new instruments. So it's an institute of a banking institute where they are showing support. Like Edward, you know this probably no less than me. The community of German banks exists, so the German banks work actively close together and support both German companies and both Uzbek companies that are actively cooperating with Uzbekistan, with Germany. Thank you very much, Ekaterina. Thank you. I think not only me, but for most of the representatives of the companies are aware that a lot of German financial institutes are being supported or just support. And we can say that Uzbekistan, together with Kazakhstan, are in the number of 34 countries that have a special tariffs for export credits, export and so here you probably know all the things. You said that you cooperate with the National Bank of Uzbekistan, so next question I think will be for Bahadur Alimov. NBU is one of the largest and probably the most important banks of Uzbekistan in the financial sector. And it's the sector that has been through the most reforms and is still going through the most reforms. So as a financial institute, how does your bank work with these reforms and how does it go through them, basically? Thank you very much for your question. And the NBU is very actively working in the sphere of investments and attracting investments. Since we are an agent of a financial agent on the international market of Uzbekistan, if you look at the reforms in the 2024, the year is named by the president as for protection of environment, and we see a large potential for attracting investments for renewable sources of energy, which are solar, wind energies. If you have seen, the goal of generation for 2025 is to move it up to 40%, increase it to 40%. And according to this, maybe we have witnessed large investment companies that we have been cooperating with, like Aquaparo, Masdar, are being attracted for the investments to Uzbekistan. We are also working for attracting investments towards logistics for modernization of roads, airports, and also multimodal hubs. We see large interest into Central Asia, into Uzbekistan specifically, and Uzbekistan is this connecting point between the countries of Europe, China, and Central Asia, and other countries. We are at the epicenter of the Silk Road, and in accordance with this, we have a lot of projects for the development of trans-border corridors with railroads and auto transport highways. Also, we are actively working with attracting investments into the agro-infrastructure complexes, which are not just where they are trying to renew or work with something. They are also working with the food sector and to provide something to the country. Other than this, Uzbekistan has launched the IT Park project, which was during the recent presidential speech recently, they said that the IT Park has up to the 40th year to the incentives up to the year 2040 for different companies. Also, there is a necessity in building data centers where we're trying to attract large investments, and companies are working with attracting investments into this sector, where we see a large growth into the IT sector in the country. Other than that, last year, almost literally, and at the Uzbek Investment Forum, the ministers have showed a record flow of tourists to Uzbekistan, and so that's why we have a large interest in Hiva, Bukhara, and Samarkand in building touristical clusters, hotels, and other different entertainment directions for the tourism sector. That's why we're actively working with financial institutions and other banks in Germany specifically. I can actually bring up like ODBHF. We are large. We have a lot of we are providing a large amount of products to the clients of Uzbekistan and for people who want to be working on exporting. And I want to mention that the trade turnover has increased twofold since last year between Germany and Uzbekistan. Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing up a very important topic that the President has brought up during the speech during his opening of the forum on the infrastructure and logistics of Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is at the center, at the heart of the Central Asian region, but however, it's also a double landlocked country. I would actually like to ask everybody here a question. How does logistics what kind of impact does logistics have on your business, and what has to be built or developed in the sphere of logistics? Maybe Mr. Kursanov can answer this question. I would actually like to thank everybody for their question. All of you know that when we try to bring to life very large projects, we depend on the government a lot. And the active preparation of the building, we have accepted 240 containers. We have received 240 containers. So, but the middle corridor doesn't allow us to have a large number. So currently, the EU and the German government are trying to pay a lot of attention to this problem and to develop this middle corridor. However, other than this, we have our own developed railroad structure that we already have, the management with railroad transportation. When we try to work and try to build up all of this with the modernization, we are trying to get used to the European companies, to German companies. However, logistics plays a very large role, because whenever we try to just when we just try to finish something, there's a lot of other things that come up. That's why, specifically when we build like complexes and other things, we are always in need of specific instruments or some services of logistic companies. Additionally, right now we are concluding the development of TEO and other technological regimens. And we are starting for the fourth factory that's happening here. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ekaterina. The question is actually very important, Eduard, because logistics plays a key role in every single supply here of any trade operation that goes on in the country, of export, of import. However, us as a bank, we see a huge potential in the development of the middle corridor, as we also call it as the Trans-Caspian corridor. It is very important to take into consideration the element of cooperation between the Central Asian countries, cooperation between CA and the countries of the South Caucasus, and also working with tariffs, the regimens, and also any other challenge that currently is standing in front of us. It's an opportunity to create a new path in the Trans-Caspian corridor, in the middle corridor, for all of the governments, but also for private businesses, for companies, but also opportunities for companies from classical sectors of economy, and also for the innovational. And as a bank, we all look at it as something positive, and we can't wait for new projects, and we are ready to support such initiatives. Thank you very much, Ekaterina.
On logistics and infrastructure in Uzbekistan.
This is a very, very interesting topic, of course. In our projects, we try to use mostly local materials, and we try to look for local partners, but functional logistics system what is between Central Asia and Europe, for us it's important, is very, very necessary, of course, but we are a service provider. We do our work at place in the countries where we work, and the logistics is an important issue for us, but not the most important.
Thank you. Michel.
Yeah, Eduard. What can I say? Что можно мне сказать на это?
What else can I say regarding this? So we have to imagine that during the season, before the beginning of the season, our company always comes to the country. Our combines come to the country with the containers, with a large amount of containers that have to be traveled to Uzbekistan. It's a large amount, so we basically we depend on the logistical, on timely supplies, which has to be for a normal price. But on the other, when we, of course, however, but when we provide or make or manufacture our products here we have to look at the ecological side as well. So the environment has to be protected as well. That is why we are talking about the two directions, the two sectors that we are dependent on competitive infrastructure and workable infrastructures. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your question. Logistics and the transportation of heavy weights, we can see a large advantage to the economy. Recently, we had a discussion with the Ministry of Transport and our European colleagues on the matter of building roads. And there we discussed not only the economic effect, but we also discussed the social effect of the building of the roads and building high-speedy roads, which increase death. When we transport weights, it plays a very large role. That is why we try to pay attention not only to the building of the roads, but also to the financing of the building of the airports of Samarkand, Bukhara, and the Fergana Valley regions. Also, the building of railroads. If you have seen, the railroad has been lengthened towards Bukhara. Hopefully, it will be lengthened towards Khiva as well for the increase of tourism flow as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, colleagues. As I have promised, I would like to give the opportunity to ask questions from the session. I'm not sure if, okay, we have a microphone for translation. Please let us know.
My name is Mustafa Rahman. First of all, good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. Well, I hear a lot of good energy from every sector. And also our ambassador said also a very clear message that the government able and capable to deal now with the new, let's say, the new future of Germany. At the moment, where I come from Baden-Württemberg, this is the heart of in Germany. Now they are suffering a lot because there's a lot of people or workers, they are about to leave their places and lose their jobs. Why? Because we miss the communication with Central Asia. We miss the communication with Uzbekistan. We talk and communicate very good, but we don't understand the culture between two countries. So we are here a bridge builder. I am in the politics, in the CDU, and now with the Friedrich Merz. We want to bring made in Germany again to be in the way and of the level of the competition. But this only happened with your support, with your cooperation, so that we can reach a good level to be a better and stable and sustainable economy for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was not a question, but a statement. Do we have any questions or maybe short, very real short statements? Here you go.
Thank you very much. My name is Kian Ropita. I work for GIZ for the program Develop PPP, which supports companies in implementing public-private partnerships here in Central Asia. And maybe to connect to the remark by the speaker before me, I would like to ask, what can your companies do to support dual education initiatives here in Central Asia, maybe also to train workers here, which are a benefit to, of course, the local market, but also could be a potential to come to Germany for the German or European market. Thank you.
Thank you. Дуальное образование. Что вы могли бы делать?
The dual education, what can be done in order to strengthen it?
Спасибо за вопрос.
Thank you for your question.
На самом деле GIZ, мы
The
вместе с GIZ уже
together with GIZ, we are implementing the PPP projects very successfully, I consider, in Uzbekistan. And returning to your question, yes, we are carrying out the dual education. The first students are just school students. We have invited them to Germany, and we are developing this, starting to actively develop. This is an additional task which companies should fulfill in future. And one thing that we should highlight, we should pay attention on foreign languages, and students should learn German language as well at schools, so that in future, in trainings that we carry out, it would be continued. Thank you. As Uzbekistan, as a country in the region where we have the largest number of students of German learners, German language learners across Central Asia. On dual education, our colleague from GIZ knows KfW has a program on dual education with the government of Uzbekistan. One of the training centers, this is the AGMK training center, and we should highlight that when we think about the contribution of German Republic, Federative Republic, for the direction of dual education. We consider that the students, the specialists should train and become as a multiplier of this education. It's very important to get quality education and chance for the future career development, which is gonna influence the economic development as well. From the German companies, we know that they support, and the government of Uzbekistan is interested in Germany. The personnel of the middle class can get trained in the German companies. We know about this cooperation, it exists. We know about the example Deutsche Bank Engineering Consulting. They are training the chauffeurs of the cars and the buses so that they can get the qualification and the driver's license for carrying out their activities in the EU countries as well. And this is one of the examples. And we are developing right now in this direction, but it should be good if we can consolidate our efforts. Thank you very much. The mic to the first row, please.
Philip Cook. I represent Rhenus Logistics, a German family company active in the sector of logistics and one of the most sustainable logistic providers in the world. Just a brief comment from my side. We believe in Uzbekistan, and we believe there is great potential here. And as actions speak louder than words, we're investing here in Uzbekistan, a 7-digit number, and we would like more German companies, like the very excellent examples we see here, to join us in investing in Uzbekistan, because we believe in Uzbekistan, we believe in the region, and we extend our cooperation to all German companies and all German-friendly companies here in Uzbekistan. We've always been treated with respect here, and we'd love more German companies to invest here. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. So, тогда бы я хотел по окончании задать всем участникам подиума один и тот же вопрос, опять же, как вы видите ближайшее будущее узбекско-германских экономических отношений?
Я хотел поблагодарить.
I want to express my gratitude. We are preparing for the visit of our Prime Minister, and we are developing the several contracts. We are planning to sign contracts with companies at the amount of $350 million USD. In the prospect, we want to work in digitalization and automation of our enterprises. We want to cooperate with German companies to introduce the new technologies.
Именно вот эта глубокая переработка нашей продукции. И хотим мы диверсификации наших предприятий. Мы хотели, как бы сказать, я думаю, у нас будет сотрудничество с немецкой компанией, германской компанией будет активизироваться. Спасибо. Хотел поблагодарить наших партнеров, очень много партнеров. У нас здесь сидят, кого-то я сегодня не называл. Хотел извиниться.
I haven't mentioned you in my speech. I want to apologize.
Екатерина.
Thank you. We as a bank, I am responsible for the acquisition of new deals, and the bank considers the risks. That's why we are controlled, and as a financial institution we are objective. At the same time, we positively assess the development of relations between Germany and Uzbekistan, as we are waiting for new projects in new sectors, in raw material sectors, as I have already mentioned. It's very important to pay attention to the production of goods, of value-added products, and we see that the new Tashkent center is interesting for German companies as well. It's important for us to think about how we can promote the information to German businesses, and what kind of directions are welcomed in Uzbekistan, and how can we involve the best experience. In the field of logistics, we see the huge potential, the field of green economy, intensive work is being carried out. Such traditional sectors always popular. This is education and healthcare, and we see the strengthening of cooperation in this direction between Germany and Uzbekistan as well.
Спасибо большое, Olaf.
Thank you,
Your assessment of the near future.
Mr. Olaf.
We are very successful, active in Central Asia since 16 years in Kazakhstan, and what my hope is that we are here in Central Asia and we want to develop our business in Uzbekistan too. We are active in Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan at the moment, but we are looking to Uzbekistan since 2-3 years, and we feel also a development. And I think I look very positive into the future because we have good solutions for the underground mining technology or underground mining industry, and we are open to come in contact with our potential partners, and we are every time available for discussions about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael.
Екатерина, если могу позволить себе
Ekaterina, if I
вы начинали с того,
might,
что
you
про
have
риски говорить,
started
да? Мне хотелось бы, чтобы
talking
мы в
about
будущем больше
risks.
про шансы говорили сначала.
And
Наша задача
in
как
future,
бизнес
I want
оценивать,
to
конечно,
tell
риски,
you to
но наша
talk
задача
more
в том
about
числе
the
в первую очередь говорить
opportunities,
про шансы,
the
которые есть,
opportunities
безусловно, в
that
этой
we
стране.
have in this
На
country.
самом деле, помимо шансов, здесь и есть серьезные возможности.
With the
В нашем
opportunities,
случае сельское хозяйство
we have
сейчас в
the
фазе модернизации. Мы
very
слышали про
specific and
тему
promising
воды,
directions such
которой
as
весь регион
agriculture. We
сейчас
have mentioned
очень серьезно
about the
занимает.
water resources,
Мы это видим в
which
других
is
разных
acute for
местах
the
мира,
region. We
и
see
в
it
том
in
числе
other
в
parts
Центральной
of the
Азии, в том
world,
числе в
including
Узбекистане.
Central Asia,
Мы
including
хотим быть
Uzbekistan, and we
неотъемлемой
want
частью
to
этой
be
модернизации
a
с
part
нашим
of this
ноу-хау, с нашими
modernization with our
возможностями.
know-how and with our opportunities.
Предлагаем свое
And
сотрудничество.
we suggest our
И все,
cooperation.
которые вот, я надеюсь, с
And
интересом
I
послушали
hope
вот
that
из нашего опыта здесь, да,
our
то, что здесь
experience
представляется
and
на сцене.
discussion was
Я
interesting
хотел бы
for
пожелать,
you
чтобы
to
все,
hear, and
все-таки
I want to
больше
wish
немецких компаниях нашли
for
возможности
the
здесь,
German companies to
потому что мы
find
со
the
своей стороны всегда
opportunities
встретили
here.
открытые двери.
And from
Безусловно, не
our
всегда было
side,
все
we
только весело. Тоже надо это
were
отметить, но
always
это
met
задача бизнеса найти для себя
with
правильную
open
дорогу.
doors in a
Поэтому
hospitable
потенциал
manner.
есть.
So we
Быстро
have the potential in this
растущее
country,
население
the
здесь
rapid growing
желает
population
работать,
here,
желает модернизовать
who
страну.
are willing
В
to
принципе,
work
мы
and to modernize their country,
руками
and
приглашены
we
на
are
участие в этой модернизации.
invited in participation during this
Да,
modernization
Михаил,
process.
если позволишь, я немножко
Михаил,
прокомментирую.
if you
Да, я
allow,
имел
I
в виду,
will
что даже мы,
comment.
как банк, который
I was
обязан
telling as a
регуляторно смотреть на
bank
риски, мы
that
очень позитивно смотрим на
regulatorily consider
Узбекистан.
the risks, will positively assess Uzbekistan.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Bahadir.
Bahadir,
Очень интересный вопрос.
very
Я
interesting
хотел бы
question.
прокомментировать.
I want to comment.
Немецкие ноу-хау
The
технологии,
German
как
know-how
и немецкие
technologies
автомобили,
as a
они
German
ассоциируются с
cars are
высокой надежностью,
associated with
качеством
the
и точностью.
high
И
stability,
мы видим большой
quality,
интерес
and
среди наших
preciseness.
клиентов.
And we see the interest
И в
among
этой
our
связи у нас
clients in this
очень,
regard. We
очень большие кредитные линии
have
мы
huge
привлекаем
credit
с немецких
lines
банков для поставок
involving
оборудования
the
и видим большой
German
интерес со
banks,
стороны наших
and we
клиентов.
see the interest
А также
from
у
our
нас
clients.
есть
And with
договоренности
this,
с
we have the
экспортно-кредитным
agreement
агентством
with the
Hermes.
expert credit
И
agency
мы также
Credit,
предоставляем кредитование
and
под
we provide the
и
lending
помогаем развитию, потому что
for
мы
eco,
видим большой
and
интерес
we
по
support the
поставке
development,
оборудования и
and we
совместной
see
работе.
the huge potential and supply of
Спасибо большое,
technologies. Thank you.
коллеги. Если
Thank you very
я
much,
как-то
colleagues.
могу обобщить
If I
нашу
can
дискуссию,
sum
то
I would
то, что я услышал, то, что
say
я
I
уже
would
до этого
I
знал, может быть,
heard
это что
and I
германско-узбекские
knew
экономические
maybe the
отношения
German-Uzbek
на
economic
очень хорошем уровне,
relations
но,
are
как
at a
известно,
very
the
good level,
room
but
for improvement is the biggest
there is
room in the
always a
universe. Мы
room
можем
for
стать лучше, мы станем
improvement,
лучше, то
and
есть
we
все
can be the
оптимистично
best,
смотрят в
and we will
будущее.
be the best.
Нам нужны новые маяки, и
We need
они, безусловно, будут.
new
Я думаю, совместными усилиями, если у
directions,
вас
new companies.
есть нужда в поддержке,
If you
обращайтесь
need support, Please, you can always refer to the Trade Economic Chamber. You can refer to our colleagues from the Eastern Committee who are organizing our session in Berlin, and I want to express my gratitude, His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, and our colleagues from the Ministry of Investment and Industry of Uzbekistan, and I want to express my gratitude to our participants and speakers. Thank you.